Well, hi. How are you doing out there in internet land? And hello, my name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and welcome to the Tuesday Night Newsroom, an election night edition of the Tuesday Night Newsroom. We are gathered together to check out the news, give our views, and try to make sense out of this crazy thing that we call life. My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative. Sometimes I'm known as the beau in the chapeau. Sometimes I'm known as the chap in the cap, the kid in the lid. On occasion, I'm called the common man with common sense. But in this moment, as always, I am, above all else, your host. We are on Rumble. We are on Twitter. And we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So please do me some favors as always. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so. Also, while you're at it, hit the thumbs up button right now. Hit that thumbs up button right now. Doesn't matter if you're on YouTube, doesn't matter if you're on Rumble, hit that thumbs up button and let everybody know that you love this live stream. And leave a comment in chat. Also, share the link around with your friends. Hit the bell for notifications. Let's make sure you're always aware when new material is coming out, be it a live stream or a video. All right, let's see who's in the house so far. Well, we know the OG Wingnuts are well represented on Rumble. My Lord, them crazy people. Whoo, glory. Are they definitely in the house? All right, let's see who else is here. Going over to the YouTube side. And Gypsy's here. I'm just finishing up a chore, listening. Be there in a few. You're all good. You are all good. Rhonda Santos says, hi, bye. I have to work tonight, but have fun without me, y'all. Well, you know what? We understand, and that's totally cool. Totally fine. Catch us on the flip side. That's the beautiful thing about live streaming. If you're not able to catch us live, you can always catch the live stream later on down the line. So good to have you here with us. Hello, AH. Glad to have you in the audience with us tonight. Yes, everybody's starting to gather in. This is an election night version of some of what we do, but with a little bit of a difference. Let's see. Hey, peeps. Hello, Lana. Good to have you here, darling. I'm aching. I tripped over my own feet and managed to bring down a footstool on top. Oh, no. That's not good. Goodness me. Well, bless your heart, dear. I hope you're feeling okay. Please recover quickly of whatever ails you. So, yes, we are here tonight. A little bit of an election stream, not quite like normal years for various reasons. One, there are a whole bunch of other commentators out there that are going to be doing reviews tonight, and I'm going to recommend them to you all. Check out Mark Mitchell over at Rasmussen. Check out Rich Barris, of course. He's going to be doing election night coverage. So there's various places to do it. Also, I've just got a bunch of stuff going on right now, and I've got to be able to tend to it. But we're going to do some analysis about what's to happen. And, you know, I really wish I was coming to you guys with better news about what's going to happen tonight, but I got a bad feeling. I really do. And we're going to talk about not necessarily my bad feeling, but why in part I think it is a disaster is about to befall the Republican Party. Notice I didn't necessarily say Trump. That disaster may yet happen, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, glad to have you guys here with us tonight. We're going to dive right into some things. And as always, we're bringing the merry memes, those wonderful contributions that you guys bring, that other people bring to the live stream, the little funnies that help us laugh our way through this craziness that we call life. And with that, we will get started in earnest. By the way, with that said, did you guys hear about the new scientific study that just came out related to cancer? Very interesting results. As a matter of fact, it was a study that was done related to women and cancer. And I tell you what, the results were downright shocking. Did you know that 1 in every 5 women who are politically liberal have a strong chance of getting testicular cancer? I didn't know this. I mean, until I saw this myself, I was ignorant of this issue. I did not realize this was a possibility. But yeah, new scientific study has come out saying that 1 in 5 women, particularly if they have liberal political views, have a very good chance or a very stronger chance than others of getting testicular cancer. I mean, who knew? Who knew that this was a possibility? I tell you what, I tell you what, the day and age in which we find ourselves, the scientific knowledge that we're coming across is downright astounding. Every day we're making some kind of a brand new discovery. And this one, shocking, positively shocking. You know, some of them, I guess some of them men that thinks that their women are also screwed. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Just, could be. Well, yeah, that's true too. That is true. Well, hello, darling. Haven't seen you in a spell. Mwah. Glad to have you in the house tonight, Miss Tiny Tesla. Good to have you. Good to have you. Good to have you. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that's the latest scientific study that just came out. And speaking of studies, we're always going on and on about the decline of the American educational system. But no one seems to be able to find a way to, how do I want to put this? No one seems to be able to find a way to quantitatively prove that the quality of our educational system is declining or has been declining, or maybe is currently in decline. Who knows? But there's a downward trend in the quality of our educational product. In other words, our students that come out of our schools. Well, someone may have figured out a way to prove that this is actually happening. Someone has found a way to demonstrate that our educational system is not producing the best and the brightest. And you know what? If ever you needed proof that American education is in the decline, well, ladies and gentlemen, I simply refer you to this right over here. But I do have one question as it relates to this, okay? I do have one question. How do we know they're trespassing? I mean, if they're going to be prostituted, maybe they're not trying to trespass. Maybe they want to be there. I mean, that's the only flaw I see in this analysis of the American educational system. Maybe they're not trespassing at all. Maybe they really want to be prostituted. And here's another question. Is that prostitution limited to men or women or both? I don't know. But anyway, we have figured out a way to show and demonstrate to everybody that the American educational system is definitely on the decline. Yikes. Yeah, buddy. Well, now that's possible too, I suppose. That is possible too. Oh, goodness. Goodness me. All right. What else do we have? Oh, good news, folks. I mean, I know that we are getting ready to roll into Thanksgiving. And I don't want anybody to take their attentions away from preparations that they're getting ready to make to be with their families, right? I mean, you're going to be preparing food, you're going to be gathering on the dining room table, sharing a lot of memories, sharing a lot of traditions, and that's great. But, I mean, don't tell me it's not in the back of your mind already. Christmas is just around the corner, and that means we're all going to be shopping for gifts in one form or another. Well, the Trump organization, ever the entrepreneurial-minded folks that they are, have figured out a Christmas gift that you can give to friends and family members. And believe me, I think a lot of people in MAGA will be very, very happy when they see this. I mean, imagine waking up on Christmas morning and you open a box and you find the following in said box: a pair of gorgeous black sweatpants, but on the leg, you've got an image of Donald Trump in the White House, and you've got, this great line, "I like the White House like my pants with a lot of ballroom." Well, hey, I mean, you imagine just being comfy around the house wearing this, and be honest, if there is, I mean, especially for gentlemen, if there is a lot of ballroom in these sweatpants, isn't that not going to make you happier? I mean, seriously, So if you're looking for a gift for friends and family members, just consider this as one of your options. So and by the way, never let it be said that here on the electronic front porch, we're not always trying to find a way to help you out in most, if not all, aspects of your life. See, you think this show is all about me. Nay, but no, we are doing this for you. So there you go. All right. What else? Oh, speaking of Christmas gifts. Speaking of Christmas, oh, jeez. Oh my gosh. Hey, look, we're trying to find ways to help you through the holiday season. Okay, so just saying. Anyway, well, speaking of Christmas gifts, oh, and by the way, if you now here's one for those of you out there who have female friends of yours that are soccer players. Okay, I think it was TBA who sent me this, and he is, I don't know where he came across this, but if you have friends of yours, particularly if they're female, and they enjoy playing the game of soccer, okay, well, TBA may have found a gift that you want to give them. However, I'm not so sure if this gift is not just beneficial to the person you're giving it to or for other people who will be seeing it. Because can you imagine a group of women running out on the soccer field wearing this particular style of uniform? I mean, seriously. I will say this. I will say this. There will be a lot of men up in the audience, very, very happy to see their wives and girlfriends take the soccer field wearing this particular uniform. I mean, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. So another option for your holiday shopping pleasure. Just saying, if you know, and again, this is great. This is great for friends of yours who are soccer players, particularly if they're ladies. So there you go. There you go. Well, hello, LL Liberty 101. Good evening, good evening, good evening, Patriots. Yep. There you go. Now, I have to say hello to LL Liberty. And this, thank you for being here tonight. I think this is your first visit to the electronic front porch. We're glad to have you. I also need to take a moment, which in that their arrival does remind me, I need to take a moment and thank Mr. Eric Soto, who is known as Big Red One Guy on Rumble and on YouTube. He's got a channel. He invited me on last night for a conversation, and it was a load of fun, an absolute load of fun. Eric is a really good guy. Matter of fact, give me 1 second here, as I want to put the links to his channel out there. Do me a favor tonight, if you really would not mind. I would appreciate this. There it is. Do me a favor and give this man a subscription, okay? This is one hardworking guy, so do me that favor tonight. Give him a sub. All right, there's his YouTube channel. Let me get to his Rumble channel real quick. But yeah, Eric had me on last night. It was an absolute blast, and met a lot of really great people. LL Liberty is one of them. And there we go. Yeah, I think we're getting there now. All right. Yeah, here we go. Give Eric a follow. Give him a subscription on YouTube. Give him a subscription on Rumble. Very nice guy. I've reached out to him to see if he wants to come on my channel somewhere in the near future, and I would love to have him on here. An absolutely great guy. So, yeah, LL Liberty, we're glad to have you here with us tonight. And thank you for being in the audience. Greatly appreciate it. And by the way, I know you may not know our folks, but we're a lively bunch. So we're glad to have you. Feel free to chime in about anything we're talking about and, have at it. I only have one basic rule when it comes to chat. Okay. It's this. Just be respectful to your fellow folks on the live stream. You can be as salty as you like. You can have whatever opinion you like. Just no personal attacks. Otherwise, you'll be perfectly fine. But yeah. Well, look, wait a minute. Look, safe is one thing, but now, LL Liberty, watch out because there's a reason why I call this bunch on Rumble the OG Wingnuts. You're about to find out if you hang around them long enough. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, and here's a reason why you're in with a very unique crowd tonight. So yes, much thanks. Glad to have you here. And Eric is a good guy. Big Red One guy. Check out his channel. Give him a subscription. Follow him on YouTube. But yeah, definitely good people. So with that, we will dive back into the merry memes. Now, have you ever had that one family member who truly believes that they're a whole lot handier than they really are? Translation, they can do a lot of stuff around the house, but in your heart of hearts, you just don't have the stomach to tell them, just don't. Let's hire somebody. Well, if you're wondering how that could turn out, check this out, folks.
Who'd you say did the electrical work?
Oh, that would be my nephew, Thomas. He's very handy.
Yeah. What year did his house burn down?
Oh, about 2 years ago. How do you know his house burned down?
Yeah. Like I said, folks, sometimes when it comes to home repair, just go ahead and hire somebody, please. There's just some home improvement projects you just should not take on yourself, lest you wind up in that kind of situation. Yikes. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I've always said there's some memes that just speak for themselves. I'm just going to pop this one right up here. Yeah, I'll just take a moment and take a sip, and you guys just take a second to appreciate this one. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I can definitely see the similarities, and frightening as they are. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Yikes. Anyway, now, as you all know, we have sort of been, well, not sort of been, we've been very much joking around about the new addition to the East Wing of the White House that the Trump folks are working on right now. And as you would expect from this, your host, I am always bringing you some version of a joke about what the East Wing of the White House is going to look like after these renovations are done. Now, look, I'm always trying to bring the humor to the live stream and have some fun and, be entertaining. But you know what? At some point, I need to get serious about this and just give you guys the straight poop. Well, that starts tonight. And by that, I mean this. We now have the final version of what the White House is going to look like after these renovations to the East Wing are finished. And I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised with how they turn out. So tonight is the big reveal. Ladies and gentlemen, here is what the architects envision the White House grounds and compound will look like after the renovations to the East Wing are finished. And I don't know about you guys, but that to me looks pretty good. I mean, if they manage to pull that off before the end of Trump's term in office, that's doing pretty good. I mean, it really is. And that's going to take a lot of work. A lot of work. So there you go. There you go. Oh, well, now wait a minute. Wait a second. What do you mean? Look, I told you guys I'm always here to give you the straight poop. Okay. But you seem to feel you've had enough of that in your life. Well, okay. All right. But I just want you to know I'm bringing you the straight skinny. Okay. She has to know. She absolutely has to know that she's that famous. I mean, how could you not after all these years? I mean, what are we going on now? 11 or 12 years. Let's see. Trump was sworn in 17, and that's when her picture first went viral. So we're talking about what, 7 or 8 years of this? I would think that by now she knows. I'm just saying. But, anyway, this is what the new ballroom will look like when they get it completed. So there you go. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. What else do we have tonight? Well, the Democrats are finally getting what they deserve. They're getting blamed for the shutdown. What is their response? Talk about the ballroom a little bit more. Well, there you go. So, yeah. Now, like I said, I have always made the statement. I've always made the statement that some memes just speak for themselves. Well, I've got a political cartoon here, and I would love to talk to this artist sometime. But yeah, this one kind of hits home. It really does. It really hits home. So, and the artist Branko, he ain't wrong, because to be perfectly frank, that's really kind of accurate. Which, by the way, I've got an audio clip a little later in the live stream. Remember that House Representatives member that said that a government shutdown is one of the few points of leverage that Democrats have? Well, oh yeah, absolutely, Ella Liberty, absolutely. So yeah, I got a clip a little bit later. Never let it be said that the Democrats aren't strategic, and I'll explain what I mean by that here in a minute or two. But anyway, and Branko had another great cartoon, by the way, and it has to do with the New York City election. People are wondering, well, again, I'll just let this one speak for itself. Tell you what, that's not wrong. That is so not wrong. Just think about that one for a second, folks. Don't get me wrong. I love memes, but a good political cartoon, if it's done right, can say so much. And this one is just really, really good. I mean, really good. Just amazing. Just amazing. Couple or three more. There is a very good chance that Mom Donnie will win tonight. And we'll get into that here in a minute. We're going to talk about election stuff here momentarily. And TBA, you're not wrong, friend. But the saddest part about it, they're going to have voted for it. They will have voted for the lesson that they're about to get. And that's truly the sad part about it. You know, when we get to the New York election, remind me of this statement again, TBA, because I want to get into this. I want to talk about this for a little bit. Anyway, people have been wondering, what is New York City going to be like if Mamdani wins? And by the way, I mean, I'll make a prediction right now. The polls in New York City close at 9 o'clock. Do not be shocked at all if that race gets called really early. And I mean really early. But what will New York City look like? Well, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a very distinct possibility. Very distinct possibility, my friends. I mean, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Yep, that is tragic. Very tragic indeed. One more, and I gotta thank TBA for this one. This one is just really good. I mean, really, really good. Corrupt mayors create hard times. Hard times create black DEI hire mayors. Black DEI mayors create some retarded times. And then those create a Muslim socialist mayor. You know, I'm going to call you LL. Okay. Double L. I think double L. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, buddy, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong, my friend. You are not wrong at all. Oh, truly, my dear. Truly. I mean, this is just sad beyond all imagination. Really, really just sad. And there's a lot of reasons to be sad this evening. Truly, there are. And when we start doing some of the analysis, we'll get into that. All right, as always, I want to thank TBA. I want to thank WWG1. I want to thank Adam. I want to thank anybody and everybody who is contributing memes and even stories. So remember, folks, right down here is the Twitter handle. If you find a meme or a story that you think we ought to be looking at or talking about, hey, tag me on Twitter. You can DM me on Twitter, whichever you prefer to do. That's perfectly fine. The host reserves the right, as always, to use or not use what is contributed. But more often than not, what you send in usually finds its way onto the screen. So, yeah, we love to make this as interactive and live stream as possible. So please do me that favor. If you got something you want to put up there and talk about or look at, let's do it. Shoot me a tweet, shoot me a DM. We'll put it up there. We'll see what happens. So, as always, much thanks to all the contributors. All right. Some breaking news happened about 2 hours ago, and the details are still coming in. I don't know if you guys have heard about this yet or not, but there was a UPS plane that crashed after taking off at a Louisville airport. This is from NBC News. Aircraft with 3 aboard crashed during takeoff at Louisville's Muhammad Ali International Airport around 5:20 p.m., according to officials. This is an updated version of the story written by Phil Helsell. A UPS plane with 3 crew members aboard crashed as it was taking off late Tuesday afternoon in Louisville, Kentucky, officials said. UPS Flight 2976 crashed around 5:15 local time after departing Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. The FAA said, quote, "At this time, we have not confirmed any injuries or casualties," UPS said in a statement. A spokesperson for Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg said injuries had been reported. It crashed on takeoff, multiple injuries. The spokesperson, Allison Martin, said in a message. Governor Andy Beshear asked for prayers for the plane's pilot and crew. Quote, the situation is serious. Please pray for the families involved. I'm headed to Louisville now. The plane, a McDonnell Douglas MD-11, was headed to Honolulu, the FAA said. Video from the scene showed a fire and black smoke rising from an area appearing to be near the tarmac. And I think we got one image of it here. So hang on a second, folks. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, God, that looks bad. So, folks, if you think of it, if you are inclined to pray for everyone involved, family members of the UPS crew, the UPS crew members themselves. Yeah, pray for everybody involved. That's some really, really bad stuff going on. Really bad. Police encourage people in areas north of the airport to the Ohio River to shelter in place. Wow. Yeah. Cargo loaders didn't strap down the cargo very well, and it was shit. Could very well be. We'll find out more in the coming days. Oh, come on. Really? Jeez. Oh, man. Team WWG1, you are just wrong in so many different ways. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, that's probably the best way to go with this. And hello, Next Pharaoh. We're glad to have you in the audience tonight. Glad to have you here. Ooh, really? UPS driver in Milwaukee. Everyone there is pretty. Yeah. Well, I mean, look. I mean, and again, I'm just giving a take on it, give my opinion. But yeah, I mean, that's some scary stuff, man. Those three UPS employees, new friends, probably all over the country. And it's inside any organization when something like this happens. Yeah, everybody does. Oh my gosh. Probably DEI pilots like the truckers we have been seeing lately. No idea, my friend. No idea. We don't know anything yet beyond the fact that about 2 hours ago, this plane crashed. So, but good to have you in the audience tonight, Salty. Let's see. Did anyone see the photos of the fire? No, I did not hear about this. Hey, if you got any pictures of that, tag me on Twitter with it. We'll put them up there right now. So, now wait a minute. Seriously? No, I'm just messing with you. But seriously, come on now. Because actually, it's funny because that was going to be the next story. That's going to be the next story I was going to get into. And Ruben Christopher Haynes is in the audience tonight. Evening, sir. Looks like an engine fire. Could be. Really? Nobody? I mean, I know that the air traffic controllers are not there because of the government shutdown, but nobody's working the tower? Holy cow. Well, as far as I know, Dick Cheney has only died once. Once that I'm aware of. And matter of fact, here is the story. And it broke early this morning. Dick Cheney, and this is from the Associated Press, Dick Cheney, one of the most powerful and polarizing vice presidents in history, dies at age 84. Article written by Calvin Woodward. We have the following. Dick Cheney, the hard-charging conservative who became one of the most powerful and polarizing vice presidents in history and a leading advocate for the invasion of Iraq, has died at age 84. George W. Bush's vice president died Monday from complications of pneumonia and cardio and vascular disease, his family said in a statement. In Cheney's hands, the vice presidency became a nexus of influence and manipulation, no longer the timid office whose occupants had tended their boss's ambitions, gone to endless banquets, and often waited in the wings for their own shot at the prize. When he bunkered in secure, undisclosed locations after the September 11th attacks, that was less an inconvenience for Cheney than a metaphor for a life of power that he exercised to the maximum from the shadows. Now, for those of you in the audience who might be younger and don't know much about Dick Cheney's history, and I might even be missing some details, but let's go back in time a little bit. Dick Cheney rose in power in part due to his association with Donald Rumsfeld. At one time, Dick Cheney served as chief of staff to the White House. He was a congressman from Wyoming. He also served as Secretary of Defense for George Herbert Walker Bush, a job that he was very good at. Left public life, went to work for Halliburton, came back, vice president for 8 years. And in those 8 years, I don't think the AP is wrong in their assessment. He totally reshaped what the vice presidency was. I've sort of been wondering throughout the day what I would say about Cheney. And a lot can be said. A lot. Yeah. It wasn't just Quayle he was shooting. I'm not saying. I don't think when the history of Dick Cheney's life is written, finally, and we have had some time, a significant amount of time has passed, I don't think we're going to truly understand just how ruthless the man was. I really don't. I don't think we're going to understand how much he was able to exert influence, and in doing so, did more harm to the United States than he did good. In his mind, he was doing the right thing for the right reasons. He left office in 2009. So it's been, 16 years? In those 16 years, I think we can safely judge and be safe in saying he did a lot more harm than he did good. Oh, yeah, that's a good way to describe him. Cheney had a world vision that involved the exercise of military power by the United States so that we would be the only. Well, yeah, you could say that too. I'll just sum it up this way about Cheney. I was raised in the tradition that says you should not speak ill of the dead. That said, that doesn't mean I'm going to speak favorably of the dead either, which also goes to one more tradition that I was raised in. And that is, if you don't have anything nice to say about someone, don't say anything about them at all. So Dick Cheney has passed. Donald Rumsfeld preceded him. And like I say, my condolences to his wife, his daughters, his other family members. But there are a lot of people who are not going to shed too many tears that he has now left this world. And when you stop and think about the world we live in, that he helped influence over the past 25 years, you're going to begin to understand why they're not sad that he's dead. Just think about that, what I just said. When you think about the world we now live in, that he had a significant hand in shaping a world we've lived in for the last 25 years, you're going to begin to understand why there will be a significant number of people who will not be sad that he's dead. Yeah. 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 No, you're not wrong, my friend. You are not wrong at all. Oh, okay. So you're going to take up my portion of speaking ill. Well, okay. Okay. That dude, you do you, as the kids say these days. That's all I'm saying. LL, double L, you may be right. You may be absolutely right. Wow. Woo! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Wow. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. The kids don't say you do you. Okay. Well, tells you how much I'm keeping up with what's going on. Anyway. Well, I'll tell you what, before we take a deep dive, or I should say deep discussion into some of the election news that's going on tonight, I want to do a real quick commercial. If you've happened on this live stream, like our good friend Double L has, and you're saying to yourself, man, who is this handsome devil in the fedora and looking so good and talking so smart? Well, my name is Brian Trippett, and I am known in social media as the Front Porch Conservative. This live stream is known as the Tuesday Night Newsroom. We get together Tuesday and Thursday nights on the week, and on the weekends, we get together on Saturday morning. So please feel free. If you're not subscribed to my channel on YouTube and Rumble, go ahead and give me a sub. And while you're at it, follow me on Twitter. The name is right down there. That's the best way. That's the best way to find me on the Twitter. So follow me on Twitter, subscribe to my channels, and while you're at it, hit the thumbs up tonight. Leave a comment in chat. Hit the bell for notifications. Share the link around. Go crazy, everybody. Just do all those things and go crazy doing it. All right. Let us get into a discussion about what you're going to begin to start seeing tonight. And folks, I wish I were coming to you with glad tidings in my heart and news about upcoming wonderful victories for, for everybody involved. But ladies and gentlemen, and I'm looking at the Virginia results right now, but we'll get into it here in a second. Folks, there's a real good chance that if you like the GOP brand, you're going to be bitterly disappointed tonight. Now, let me start off this discussion by trying to make a very important distinction. And it's a distinction I've always tried to make, for as long as I've been doing live streaming since 2023, really. And it's this. Right now, there is a big, big split in the Republican Party. And the split goes something like this. You have old school establishment Republicans, country clubbers, the likes of the Mitt Romneys, the Mitch McConnells, the John Thunes, that old wing of the Republican Party that, cut its teeth in the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, etc. But particularly the 80s and the 90s, okay? They don't seem terribly aggressive. Yeah, good. Well, yeah, you could call them that, rhinos. That sort of falls into that category. They're not particularly aggressive. They tend to be, corporatist in their thinking, and I'm speaking broadly here. I know I'm using something of a broad brush, so forgive me in advance. And then you got the other wing of the Republican Party, which is more in its ascendancy more and more all the time, but it doesn't have complete operational control of everything yet. And that is MAGA. America First, MAHA. Okay. And MAHA is something of a recent addition to this emerging coalition. Okay. So when I say that if you like the GOP brand, you're going to be bitterly disappointed tonight, let me get real granular about that. If you identify as, old school establishment Republicanism, that was there before Donald Trump and MAGA and America First came along, then you're going to be really, really disappointed tonight. Or maybe it's better to say you're going to have a lot of your illusions shattered after this evening. Okay. And what I'm getting at is this. Let's just go right down the line with it. The polls closed in Virginia about 45 minutes ago. Okay. The polls will close in New Jersey at 8 p.m. here in about 10 minutes or so. They will close in New York City at 9 p.m. And then they will close out in California at 11 o'clock Eastern. Now, why do I bring up California? Well, we'll get to that here in a little bit. The results that are coming in already on the decision desk, and again, they don't look good at all. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, this is the Virginia results so far. Now, this is with about 25% of the statewide vote coming in. Okay, they're starting to update. I don't think, and I'm going to make a prediction right now, I don't think there's a single solitary race in Virginia that the Republicans are going to win. Remember the name Jay Jones? Remember this guy? This is the guy who wished that one of his political opponents was dead. Not the guy he's running against. This was from a couple or 3 years ago. Text messages that came out. This is the same Jay Jones who wished his political opponents dead, and not just his political opponent, the kids as well. He wished harm on the kids. And right now, with about 25% of the vote in, he's got a 4-point lead statewide in Virginia. This guy is on his way to winning the Attorney General's race in Virginia. Let's go down the line. For governor, and they've already called Virginia. Take it off the board, folks. Spanberger has won Virginia. Decision desk has already called it. We are 49 minutes past the time that the polls have closed, and they have called the governor's race in Virginia. It's over. It's over. I mean, I don't know if AP has gone with them, but as it stands right now, decision desk, they've seen enough. Spanberger's got a 13-point lead. Well, see, I'm not so sure this is the result of gerrymandering. Oh, hold that thought. We're going to get into that. We are absolutely going to get into that. Oh, honey, I know how you're feeling. I know how you're feeling. I know. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Ruben says, MAGA is a populist uprising of traditional fed up with political theater. The GOP is the performative political theater troupe, all style and no substance. Well, that's going to be put on display tonight, my friend. I want to put this back up here. The GOP is the performative political theater troupe, all style and no substance. Let me tell you something, Ruben. If ever that point needs to be proven that the traditional wing of the GOP is all style and no substance, it's all about performative theater, you're about to see that laid bare before God and America tonight. There is not one. The only race right now that I think the Republicans even have a snowball's chance in is the governor's race in New Jersey. And the crying shame of that is Jack Ciccarelli ought to win that race going away. But yeah, the governor's race in Virginia, it's already been called. Lieutenant governor has already been called for the Democrats. Like I say, the only race that's still up for grabs, I mean, if the Republicans get really, really lucky, they might, and I say might, win Attorney General in Virginia. Maybe. It just depends on how much Southwest Virginia and Central Virginia come out for Jay Mayeres. So that's Virginia. Like I say, get your Alka-Seltzers and your Tums ready, folks. It's about to get worse. Polls have not closed in New Jersey yet, but the latest polling that's been done, Mikey Sherrill, the lady who's Democrat running for governor in New Jersey, according to most polling, has a slim, and I do mean slim, lead. Okay. I'd say that average of about 3.5, I'd say that's about right. Emerson is good polling. Qantas Insights is good polling. Trafalgar's good polling. Yeah, I could see that being like a 1 to 2 point race in her favor. Oh, yeah, that's probably what everybody's going to need tonight, honey. That's what everybody's going to need tonight. And we haven't even got to the cherry on the cake yet. Like I said, at 9:00, the polls will close in New York City. And if the polling is even close to being right, then Zohran Mamdani is headed for a blowout win. I was on Eric Soto's live stream last night, Big Red One guy, and I made the prediction. I said on the low end, Mamdani will win by probably 8 points. I said on the high end, he's going to win by about 17. So I'm my personal range. And again, this isn't scientific. This is just my gut. Mamdani is going to win anywhere between 8 to 17 points. Now, I have a question for all of you. Okay? I have a question for all of you. What do these three races have in common? Or maybe the better way to ask this question is, what is missing from the race for governor in Virginia, the race for governor in New Jersey, the race for mayor in New York City? What is missing from all three of these races? I'll let you guys take a moment and put that in chat. Oh, yeah. If Mamdani wins, you've got the American version of Sadiq Khan. You really do. And by the way, if you don't know much about Sadiq Khan, go start looking up articles about London, England. Okay? And you will begin to understand what she's talking about. What's missing from common sense? Okay, that's a good one. Logic and reason. That's a good one as well. But what's missing from all three of these races? What is missing? Bingo! Hello, Gopher big guy. Trump. And it's not just Trump that's missing. Okay. Well, a Trump endorsement. Let's get into this. Now, each one of the candidates that are running, Winsome Earl Sears in Virginia, Jack Ciccarelli, and I'd say this is more true of Winsome Sears than Ciccarelli. Okay. Winsome Sears did not really want or get Trump involved in her race. Now, Youngkin could get away with that 4 years ago. You had a very unpopular Democrat candidate, Terry McAuliffe. You had a whole host of issues that Youngkin and his people took perfect advantage of. You know, boys and girls locker rooms, the transgender issue, inflation, a whole bunch of things. They ran, Youngkin's people ran a brilliant campaign. It was flawless. Okay. They utilized Trump sparingly, but they used him selectively. Okay. They did utilize him. Winsome Earl Sears either couldn't or wouldn't get Trump involved. Now, you could probably also make an argument, well, Trump's paying more attention to foreign policy than he is what's going on here. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute, too. But Trump was nowhere involved in the Virginia governor's race. According to things I've heard, and again, it's just scuttlebutt, take it for what it's worth, Trump wanted to get involved in the New Jersey governor's race. His staff didn't think it was worth, quote, putting the political capital on the line for. Okay, to Susie Wiles and all the rest of you political geniuses in the White House, hey, dummies, he's not running for re-election in 2028, people. Whatever political capital he's got, he better put it on the line right now. Because to go back to a very pertinent question that Gypsy asked a little bit earlier, let me find it again. Is this an omen for the midterms? You better believe it is. You better believe this is an omen for the midterms. Because there are some common themes going on here that are affecting what's happening. Trump is not engaged. Trump is not engaged in any of these races, either by the choice of his White House staff or by the choice of the candidates themselves. Personally, and again, I followed the New Jersey governor's race a little bit. I think Jack Ciccarelli would have loved to have had Trump involved. And for whatever reason, Trump wasn't. Talking about the New York City mayor's race, I'm sorry, the Trump administration badly handled that thing from the beginning. Look, if the Trump administration knew that Mamdani had lied on his paperwork when he applied for citizenship, you should have immediately called it out right then. Not wait until the end and hanging it over everybody's head like, oh, well, if he wins, we'll just deport him. No. If you knew that he was not a legitimate U.S. citizen back then, take it to court and prove it. And spare New York City what it's about to go through right now. Okay, but there's a difference between just saying something on Truth Social and going to New York City or going into New Jersey or going into Virginia. There's a profound difference between, doing some kind of robocalling and actually going and doing a political rally. Trump can move the needle with a political rally a couple of 3 points in some cases. And I'm probably being very conservative on that estimate. Well, okay, hold on a minute. Could Trump have stopped Mamdani? Lay aside the whole question of Mamdani's lying to get his citizenship. Okay, lay that aside. In a straight up, all things being equal, would Trump been able to stop Mamdani from becoming mayor of New York City? Probably not. But why do we just say, well, okay, they got to learn their lesson? No, they don't. Not without a fight. Not without a fight. Yeah. I agree. I agree. I agree. Totally agree. Trump's not involved in any of these races, either by the choice of the candidates or by the choice of the White House. Yeah, it is their fight, but it's also going to wind up being ours. This is one of those moments where if you don't stop them up there, it comes down here. You know, you've always heard the neocons refrain, if we don't fight them over there, we're going to have to fight them here. Well, this is a slight variation on that. If we don't fight them up there, we're going to wind up fighting them down here. This ain't going to stop with New York City or Dearborn, Michigan, or Minneapolis, Minnesota. By the way, keep your eyes on the mayor's race out in Minneapolis, Minnesota, because the dude that's out there now, he's about to get bounced by some potential Somali mayor candidate. That race is tight as a tick. Trump's not involved in any of these races. And here's some talk going back to Virginia for a second. The government shutdown helped the Democrat turnout in government-heavy Northern Virginia. Look at this. Here are the localities that state Navigate has gotten data of 12 p.m. The Northern Virginia counties are blowing everyone else away, and Southwest Virginia is really struggling. Trump's not involved in any of these races. He's not being utilized. His attentions are elsewhere. And Gypsy asked the question, is this a harbinger of 2026? Oh, absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. Some more thoughts about all. Speaking of the shutdown. Oh, let me find it here. Let me find it. Where is it? I just saw this a minute ago. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Everybody's been wondering why it is that the Democrats have been taking this government shutdown as far out as they have. Mark Wayne Mullen, senator from Oklahoma, you guys need to hear this. And if ever you doubt how strategic the Democrats can be in their thinking, let this clip end that for everybody.
Senate Democrat that said, quote, we feel like now after the No Kings rally, our neck is simply in a guillotine, and now they got to wait until after the election. That last week, Liz, I know Dick Durbin wanted to break with the Democrats and reopen the government. Chuck Schumer, in a private meeting with other Democrat senators, said that if you'll just wait till after the election, I'll release the handcuffs. I added the handcuff part, but basically I'm paraphrasing what he said. The reason why is because they're afraid their base wouldn't show up today in Virginia, New Jersey, and in New York. So it's been about politics. It's never been about policy. It's been about holding the American people as leverage points, regardless of the damage they cause to the livelihood of these individuals. But elections are more important than the Dems because why? They know their polls is at the very bottom than it's ever been for the Democrat Party.
There you go, folks. Schumer and the Democrats were using the leverage of the government shutdown as a way to gin up turnout in Northern Virginia, in New Jersey, in New York City. I'm telling you, folks, we're looking at a clean sweep here. Now, going back to Virginia for just a second. Okay, 35% of the vote is in, and it's tight. we're talking difference of like 1.5% between the Democrat nominee and the Republican nominee. Jay Jones is the Democrat, Mayeres is the Republican. And this one might be the only saving grace that the Republicans have tonight. It might very well be. I thought Spanberger might just pull Jay Jones across the finish line, but apparently not yet. Not yet. Absolutely they do. Absolutely. When you're willing to use a government shutdown as the means by which to gin up your base to get them to come out and vote, you know exactly how to play the game. The Republicans could never be this smart. Never. And when I say the Republicans, I don't mean the MAGA America First wing. I'm talking about old school establishment Republicans, the McConnell, the Romney, McCain wing of the Republican Party. Okay. So yeah, that's where we be. That's where we be. And let's see. Polls just closed in Jersey. And all right, give you a quick update. Now, again, this is real early. Real early. That's only like 9% of the state reporting in. Okay. So let's just see how this one goes. And again, this just might be the early vote dump. Okay. So that's where we're at. But Trump's not engaged in any of these races. What kind of harbinger is this for where we're going? Well, a couple things to point out, and I think these are very, very relevant. Robert Barnes made a really good point on Twitter the other day, and I got to show you guys this. Low turnout in New Jersey from GOP-leaning independents today reinforces what Rich Barris and I tried to warn about. It's not the GOP partisan base Trump and the GOP need to worry about not turning out. It's always been the populist independents who this GOP does so little for. Okay. All right. I'm glad you asked me this question. I'm glad you asked. I think it's a combination of at least two things, maybe more. Okay. Why is he not engaged in these races? One, I think in part his attentions are elsewhere, which I think is a mistake. And now don't get me wrong. Can Donald Trump do everything and be everywhere all at the same time? No. But this is one of those cases, if you're a president of the United States, you've got to prioritize. Look, win, lose, or draw, this is Donald Trump's last chance to get his agenda through, or his vision for what America should be, or at least start moving it forward. Okay? Oh, hello, you gorgeous thing, you. How you doing tonight? Mwah. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Glad to have you here. Good to see you, and hope you're feeling well. Going back to this question, I think Trump's attentions are elsewhere. Yeah, well, this is part of it. He's engaged. He's focusing more on foreign policy, and that is got the potential to be his Achilles heel going into 2026. He and the Republicans are going to get tagged as being more concerned about everybody else's country than what's going on in their own. I'm telling you, this is going to come, and I'm not the only one that has this opinion. This is going to come back to haunt them if they don't turn this thing around, and I mean right now. Okay? Because look, to go back to Barnes's point, it's not the GOP partisan base Trump and the GOP need to worry about turning out. It's the populist independents who this GOP does so little. And I'm sorry, Barnes is absolutely right. He's absolutely right. Part of the coalition that got Trump the presidency was Maha. Part of what got Trump the presidency were low propensity voters who hardly ever participate in elections. Trump got them to the polls, in part because of people like Tulsi Gabbard, Robert Kennedy Jr., and so many others. Well, now they're like, okay, what you going to do? Well, right now, the Trump administration hasn't been doing a whole lot for them, according to some people. So, going back to, the question, why is he not engaged in these races? One, I think his attentions are elsewhere. Foreign policy. The other part of it is, I don't think his political staff at the White House understands the importance of these elections. And by the way, no president, I think, ever does. They take these races for granted, and these races, the governorship in Virginia, the governorship in New Jersey, the mayor's race in New York City, these can be harbingers of what's to come. Or if you fight hard enough to win them, you might be able to set the tone for what you're able to do. Well, I don't think it's an issue of them who they're voting, the independents are voting for. It's the fact they're not voting. This is why I say Trump's not engaged. If Trump, and again, can I sit here and tell you if Trump went into New Jersey or Virginia and did a political rally that it's automatically guaranteed that the Republican wins? No, not necessarily. Not necessarily at all. But Trump can move the needle. He can motivate people. And again, Rich Barris has made this point on his Twitter feed all over the place. If he goes into a place to do a political rally, there's the chance to target voters. There's a chance to get people signed up, get people registered to vote. All the normal things that you can do to gin up your get out the vote effort would be happening. They're not happening. Why? Trump's not involved in these races. Now, what's going to happen out of this? Because you know what the headlines are going to be tomorrow. Trump agenda repudiated. Trump given major setback with election results. The press and the Dems are going to try and use this to generate momentum for themselves. They're going to say that the voters are repudiating the Trump agenda, and it's going to be these results are going to be turned against Trump. Now, do I think the voters are necessarily turning against Trump agenda? No. I think they're cooling in their enthusiasm. I think that there is why are you focusing so much on foreign policy? How about us? I'm just worried. That these elections are going to be a stumbling block. I will stand by this. If Trump and his people do not turn this around and start focusing on domestic agenda items, and I mean real fast, cost of living, cost of goods, price of gasoline, price of food, jobs, growth in the economy. I'm telling you, all the good stuff that Trump's been doing is going to be for naught, because 2026, the Dems retake the House, and it's a repeat of what happens in the first term. Because the articles of impeachment are going to start flying the minute Hakeem Jeffries is sworn in to the speakership. I'm telling you. I mean, I wish I were coming here tonight, full of great and good, glorious news. Can't do it. And congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. The New Jersey governor's race has now been called. Mikey Sherrill with 17% of the vote in. They're calling it. The Republicans have lost the governorship in New Jersey. Let me see. Let me take a quick peek at something, folks. Hang on one second. Let's see. Let's see if they're calling New Jersey yet on the AP. No, the AP is not doing it yet. Decision Desk is. Decision Desk has already called it. AP is not with them yet, but they're not going to be too far behind. Ooh, folks, this is going to get ugly. I mean, just ugly. All night long. Well, hate him or not. Look, the difference right now, here's the Associated Press. And I'll see if I can increase the size on this for you, make it easier for everybody to read. There you go. They've got 19% of the vote in. She's holding an almost 30-point lead. Okay. Now, again, depends on which part of New Jersey you're talking about. Okay. Looking at it on a map, here's a Decision Desk. There's not that much difference. You know, that's a great question, Gypsy. It really is. That's a great question. I think in his mind, in his heart of hearts, he's thinking about the country, but how that's translating into policy is where the problem's coming in. I mean, in his heart of hearts, he might be thinking, look, I want to do this for the good of the American people. But the American people are looking at it going, but why are you worried about Venezuela? Why are you worried about Nigeria? Why are you worried about Ukraine? Why are you worried about Israel? Why are you worried about, name the country? And on and on and on and on it goes. Okay. I mean, in his head, he might be thinking America first, but all this policy stuff where we're focusing on all these other countries, this is no bueno. This is not good. I mean, way not good. You know, definitely not good. And folks, this is just going to get ugly. Uglier and uglier and uglier as the night goes on. Like I said, I wish I were coming here with really, really good news tonight. Can't do it. And I'm always the eternal optimist. I'm always the eternal optimist. You know. Oh, I'm not giving up hope. I mean, a lot can change between now and November of next year. And it needs to. Hang on one second, folks. A lot can change. But I go back to what I said. If Trump and his people do not get a handle on where they're going, then, and when I say get a handle, I mean start focusing on domestic agenda items again, they could turn this around. But if they don't do it, they're sunk. They are absolutely sunk. And just going back to Virginia for a second, just to give you some piece of good news, Attorney General's race, 47% of the vote is in. And what is that? 2.2% is separating the candidates. There's still some areas out in Southwest Virginia. I mean, the Republican AG candidate can still pick up votes. depending on which county you're talking about. But yeah, this is true. This is true. Well, let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about this for a second. Keep in mind, and again, I'm no expert on this. This is just what I've observed over the years. Okay. When they're doing it, when a news organization is doing a call of a state or a call of a race, they're looking at a lot of different factors, but part of it is, where is the vote coming from around the area where the votes are coming in from? And also, what percentage of the vote is in? I mean, let's go back to, well, let's just go back to Virginia for a second, or go a little bit down the line here. I mean, what is that, like an 11-point lead? Yeah. Let me enlarge this a little bit. This is the Virginia governor's race. Okay. Northern Virginia, which has the most population, 95% of the vote is in Loudoun County, Fairfax County. Half the vote is in. And she's just, Spanberger is just spanking Earl Sears by like almost 50 points. Prince William County is like a 33-point margin in favor of Spanberger. So there's the margin in the counties. There's how much of the vote is in. And, you know, it just, Double L, thanks for stopping by tonight. And we're glad to have you. Stop on by anytime. Glad, come on back. Yeah, I'm not so sure they're calling these races too soon. I mean, look, the polls have closed. I mean, if it were an issue that they were making this kind of a call and the votes are still being cast, okay, you can make that argument. But I mean, in this case, half the vote is in. The Democrat has an 11-point lead, and that lead's not letting up. Now, now in this case, you got 50% of the vote in, and it's just that tight. You don't know where some of this vote is still hanging out. Let me pop back over to New Jersey for a second. Let me look at the AP real fast. Yeah, I mean, guys, I do. I wish I had better news. I really do. But that's like 26% of the vote statewide. And Mikey Sherrill is holding a, what is that, 24% lead. Now, again, this could still tighten up. I'm not saying she's going to win by 24%, but I would be shocked beyond all imagination if Jack Ciccarelli comes back and wins this thing. I just don't see where he makes up the difference. I mean, you're talking about a, what is that, 200,000 vote difference. Where does he get it from? You know, no bueno. No bueno at all, my friends. And again, we haven't even got to the New York City mayor's race. I'll make a prediction right now. That race gets called in the first 20 minutes. If that. That's how bad this is going to be for the Republicans tonight. And again, I make the distinction. When I say the Republicans, I mean that old establishment wing of the party that thinks we don't need Trump. They don't mind using him, by the way. They don't mind using Trump to help them get elected. But when it comes to whatever else they want to do, no, we don't need Trump. Don't need Trump. Well, that's a fair question. That's a totally fair question. That's totally fair. Oh, well, come on. Good evening, sir. Glad to have you in the house with us. Yeah, I know some people that are into fantasy football. So yeah, I can appreciate what you're doing, my friend. I can absolutely appreciate what you're doing. But yeah, I mean, plus here's one of the bigger cherries on the cake. And here's the one to watch, and this one may have a big bearing on what happens next year. Ballot measure in California aims to counter Republican redistrict efforts in Texas and other GOP-controlled states ahead of the 2026 midterms. Article by Paul Steinhauser on Fox News. Election day in California, a ballot initiative will make a huge impact on next year's battle for the U.S. House, whether it passes or fails. California voters are deciding whether to pass a ballot proposition, which would dramatically alter the state's congressional districts, putting the left-leaning state front and center in the high-stakes political fight over redistricting that pits Donald Trump and the GOP against the Democrats. Not a problem, sir. Not a problem at all. Glad to have you here with us tonight, TBA. Yeah. Here's the one. Here's the one right here. Don't get me wrong. All these races we've been talking about are important, but this one right here might be the one to keep the most eye on. If the Democrats are able to redistrict California and wipe out about 5 Republican seats doing it for the House, it's going to make holding on to the House Representatives harder and harder and harder. And all those gutless Republicans in places like Indiana and other places around the country, if California does this, you better get off your butts and do something about redistricting your states. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, not good times ahead. But before we go tonight, and by the way, we're going to bring this train into the station. Darling, it just might. It just might. Like I say, I will give it 20 minutes or less. The mayor's race in New York City will be called. That's my personal prediction. Okay. So I'm going to bring the train into the station. It's about 8:30. And I want to thank you guys for being here. Like I said, I wish I were coming here tonight with better news than what I've got as far as election results. But people are going to have all kinds of takes about what happened. Here's mine. And again, for what it's worth, not necessarily opinions that are necessarily original to me, but I can agree with the sentiment. You had candidates for governor that either did not get Trump involved, would not get Trump involved, or you got Trump focused on everything else. Yeah, buddy. Yep. You've got gubernatorial candidates either would not get Trump involved or could not get Trump involved. And Trump's paying attention to foreign policy more than what's going on at home. His political staff isn't letting him be involved, which hard to imagine that, but possible. The Democrats took full advantage of everything, as they are wont to do when it comes to electioneering. They're great at it. You can hate what they do with power after they get it, but man, do they know how to get power. And right now, tonight is a harbinger of what could happen come 1 year from now. I'll say it again, if Donald Trump and his people do not start focusing more on domestic agenda items, independents and the Republican base are not going to turn out. They just won't do it. Those low propensity voters that helped get Donald Trump the presidency, they're not going to come out to vote. The independents are not going to come out to vote. They just won't do it. They're proving it tonight. Oh, I agree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. But had there been more of a focus on things at home more than things abroad. Maybe the results tonight are different. Doesn't necessarily guarantee that the Democrats weren't going to win tonight. No, not necessarily. But it could have been a whole lot closer and a whole lot better result. So yeah, these are harbingers of things to come. And this ought to start scaring America First, and Maha, and MAGA to death. But not to totally leave you guys on a sad note, WWG1 sent something in anticipation of how things were going to go tonight. So with this, we're going to go out on this one, and I'll play most of this, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope this lifts your spirits. So with that, I got to thank WWG1 for that one, folks. Got to thank him indeed. All right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and call it a night. I want to thank you all for being here so much. Thank you for the memes. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the laughs. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for everything. Thank you for being the best audience on the internet. Daggone it, I love you guys. We're going to be back this Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Hit the like button on the way out. Tell your friends to come stop by. Share the link around. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, daggone it, what's the matter with you? All right. With that, remember the words of that great American philosopher Tom T. Hall when he said, "It's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money." Love you guys very much. We'll see you Thursday night. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.